Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning, everyone, and welcome to Starknet All Core Devs for call number 42. So, before we begin, quick housekeeping items. We'll be recording this session for those who could not join us live today. So, please keep yourself muted when you are not speaking to minimize background noise. And as always, cameras are always welcome. So today's call is particularly special. It's our last call before the holidays. And more importantly, it's our mainnet 014.1 deployment retrospective. 8 days ago, on December 10th, we deployed 014.1 to mainnet. And today we'll discuss how it went. So we have three main sections to cover today: the deployment retrospective, strategic roadmap, and client team updates. And I would like to keep us on schedule to respect everyone's time. We should also note that both Yasmina and Henry are unable to join us today. So we'll get consensus and poll updates in our January calls. So our first agenda item is the mainnet of 14.1 deployment retrospective. So 8 days ago on 10th December, we deployed O 14.1 to mainnet. In our last call, Ohad confirmed that the deployment was on track and mentioned that he would be doing a dress rehearsal on Sunday, December 8th, with post production identical images, targeting less than 10 minutes downtime. So let's start with how everything went with Ethan. So, Ethan, could you walk us through the deployment experience?
Yeah, deployment went relatively.
Ethan, you are mute.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Can you start over once again?
Yeah, no problem. So deployment. Deployment went relatively smoothly. We did have we expected about a 10-minute downtime, and we ended up having downtime for about 10 minutes and 40 seconds. So it was around what we had expected. And we included in that calculation also just sending transactions internally. So after we saw that we were able to send transactions, we announced the end of downtime. So it was pretty much in line with what we expected. In terms of the upgrade procedure itself, so following the upgrade, we saw that there were a couple users that were experiencing 502 errors. This is an error that we are continuing to investigate, but it is connected to how we have our whole DNS system set up and caching of DNS and so on and so forth. Eventually, we'll have different systems in place that will prevent errors like these from appearing. But nevertheless, this was something that we expected would last about 5 minutes, and it ended up lasting a bit longer, probably, but I don't want to confirm due to caching on the user's end. But then again, we're still investigating this. In terms of the actual functionality of 0.14.1, things have been running smoothly since the upgrade. Very happy about it. We were able to migrate all the contracts from Poseidon to Blake relatively quickly. This was one of the challenges we had because migration was happening in the blocks, and we wanted to make sure that it happened in a way that the blocks wouldn't be too big to close, but still being able to include transactions while also migrating block hashes all in the same block. That worked very smoothly, no complaints. So all in all, I would say that we are relatively positive about this upgrade, the procedure, and the steps we took before, and we're doing the proper investigations after to make sure that any hiccups we did see we know why, and we know how to address them in the future.
Okay.
That's in regards to 0.14.1. The second thing on the agenda that you spoke about was roadmap updates. So currently we're talking about roadmaps for 2026. We've been talking about it internally over the past month of December. We are focused on getting to decentralized validation. And currently our roadmap revolves around taking the proper steps to get there in a secure manner, meaning that we aren't doing any significant jumps from one upgrade to another upgrade, but rather doing it slowly and surely so that we can reach our goal of getting to decentralized validation in the second half of next year. I don't have a proper date scheduled or month scheduled for when specifically we'll see decentralized validation. This will be determined based off of those initial milestones, and the step-by-step process we'll be putting together beforehand. In general, we're very excited about reaching decentralized validation. It seems that this will, one of the questions that we're currently addressing is how do we reach this goal and bring our staking protocol into this process while doing so. So very interesting discussions. Hopefully I'll have more to say next call about it, but that's what the roadmap is starting to look like, and just figuring out when we're doing each part of it is still in the talks.
Okay. So you are saying that by in the next call we can have a published roadmap for everyone to see?
Sorry, can you repeat?
So I'm expecting that by next call we'll have a published roadmap for everyone to see.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Okay. So thank you for the roadmap update as well, Ethan. So let's move on to our client teams. And by the way, Ethan, I also wanted to ask, were there any post-deployment issues that we see apart from the 502 error?
No, the biggest thing we saw was the 502.
Okay.
That's in terms of our systems. In terms of ecosystem, one of the challenges was to make sure that everyone had upgraded their relevant technology stacks before the upgrade so that they wouldn't hit any bumps in regards to declaring. For the most part, it seems that almost everyone did. Here and there, we get a report of someone that's having complications with declaring, and it's likely due to them not upgrading their stack.
Okay, perfect. So let's now move on to our client teams post-deployment updates. So we'll now hear from each of these client teams about their experience with the mainnet deployment and their current statuses. So I would like to ask each team to keep their updates to approximately 3 to 4 minutes so we can hear from everyone. So we'll start with Christian. So in our last call, you had released 021.3 on December 3rd, which included critical blockifier fixes and was ready for mainnet upgrade. So how did Pathfinder perform during and after the December 10th deployment? And any post-deployment stability issues or performance metrics, if you can share?
Okay, so a quick answer. This is still our latest release, and we don't know of any issues with this version of Pathfinder, either during or after the upgrade. So we think that it went fairly smoothly as far as Pathfinder is concerned. So we are just working on extending our metrics and adding a few smallish things after this release, but there is nothing that we know of that is a blocking or showstopper issue with Starknet 0.14.1 and this latest release of Pathfinder. So if things go well, we probably won't have to cut another release before the holidays. So we are keeping fingers crossed.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Christian. And we can now hear from Rodrigo from the Juno team. So, Rodrigo, in our last call, you mentioned that Juno had full 0.14.1 support in the main branch, and like you were polishing for any official release timed with the main deployment. So, did you get that releases out in time, and how has Juno performed since December 10th?
Yes, we released in time. Like we had a few issues, just very small RPC issues that were not being right, like not returning like the right results, and we were not fully consistent with RPC. So yeah, we released that, and then we made a release. So after that, also for Paradex, we had small issue with the Paradex network, and those were also fixed. And this was all at the beginning of last week, and from there onwards to here, no issues so far. So yeah, and we hope to keep it like that. We're now continuing working on optimizing Juno and trying to work on consensus and improve Juno's DB and Juno's state. That's our work currently, our focus right now.
Okay. And also, like, do we have any implementation feedback for RPC 1.0 and any user and node operator feedback after the development?
So we're currently in RPC v10, VO10. 1.0, I guess it will come after once Starknet, probably when we reach decentralization, there will be 1.0, probably also from the client teams and everything will go 1.0. So far, I think we are 0 point something.
Okay. So thank you, Rodrigo. And now let's hear from the Carnot team. So Hemang, in our last call, you mentioned you were very sure that by this call you would have done with 0.14.1 compatibility for both Madara and SNOS. So you had already tested a lot of blocks on SNOS. So you have completed the 0.14.1 compatibility, and what's your timeline for the public release?
Yeah, sure. So for SNOS 14.1, we have released it. We have a pre-release. You guys can check it out. And for Madara as well, we have a branch that we've thoroughly tested and it works perfectly well with 14.1. And we'll be releasing it by the end of this week. So that's on the SNOS and Madara side. On the orchestrator side, we have been doing a lot of optimizations to make it much better and much faster. And they have been stress tested quite with a lot of blocks on 14.0. So that is also turning out really, really good. On the orchestrator side for 14.1, we are still a little blocked on Herodotus team. They are testing out the aggregator on their side. And we had a chat with them today morning itself. And they said that they'll be deploying it today on their networks. And hopefully, as soon as that is done, we'll be able to test it out on the orchestrator side as well. So if all of that goes good, orchestrator also will be having 14.1 release by the end of this week as well. So that's really it.
Okay. And what about the progress on Cairo native side?
Oh, it's working amazingly. We have been testing it with all the replays that we're doing with Madara. We have been doing them with the Cairo native enabled, and it's working fine.
Okay. And when can we expect the public release of 14.1?
As I said, it will be done by the end of this week, as per our timelines.
Okay. So, thank you for the update, Hemant. And before we move to any other business, I want to note that Yasmina is from the consensus team is unable to join us today. She sent a message letting us know that there will be no new Malachite release until the end of the year. So we'll get a full consensus update in our January call. And the last section that we have for the call is any other business, which means does anyone have any other topics that they would like to discuss or any questions for the group? So this is the last opportunity before the holidays come into place, and we haven't covered something which we want to cover before the holiday starts. So if someone raises any topic, we can look after that. Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, then let me close this call with some holiday wishes. So thank you everyone for joining the last call of 2025, and for all the updates that you have shared. A few final notes before we break for the holidays. First is congratulations to everyone on the successful 14.1 deployment on December 10th. This was a significant milestone, and the coordination across all the teams was really excellent. And our next call will be in the new year. We'll announce the specific date soon, but it will likely be in mid-January 2026, back to our regular date, 12 p.m. UTC time slot. As always, the recording of the call will be published on the YouTube channels, and meeting notes will be shared on GitHub. And before I close, I want to wish every one of you happy holidays, a wonderful break, and a great start to 2026. So thank you for all your incredible work this year building Starknet. See you in the new year. Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
Bye.